This is the story of Theseus. He had a unique story. When he conceived, no one knew who his father really was. His grandfather thought it was Poseidon, and his mom told him that it was the king of Athens. So, both the king and Poseidon were fond of Theseus' mother. So they both had sex on the same night. The king told Theseus' mother, Athera, that if she had a son, to tell him to move this big rock. He put his sandals and sword underneath, and so he could recognize him as his own son. Okay, so Theseus, when he was like 16 years old, so somewhere around our ages, he was finally able to move this giant rock. And when he did move this rock, he was able to go meet at least one of his fathers. And along this journey, he came across 3 thieves, murderous thieves, to be more exact. The first thief he came across liked to slice and dice. He would literally cut people or stretch them to fit his bed. Theseus outsmarted him and outstrengthened him too. When the thief got him to lay down on his bed, he saw that Theseus was a little bit too big. So he grabbed his axe and was about to cut off some limbs. Theseus got off the bed really quickly and pushed him on and saw that he was too big for his own bed. So then he sliced his head off because he was too big. Later down on the road, he came across the second thief. This thief was a little bit bigger, but with the help of this thief's daughter, Theseus was able to make it out. He would literally stretch his victims across 2 trees, tie them, and bend the trees over, and then let the trees go, and it would literally rip the victims. The third thief, well, let's say, he was a trickster. He would trick people into thinking like his feet were hurting or if they needed to tie his shoe. And then he pushed them over this cliff. Well, Theseus fell for this one, but he made it out just fine. He fell over this cliff, and there was this giant turtle swimming towards him, ready to eat him alive. But Theseus' other father, Poseidon, helped him breathe underwater, and that helped him save his life. He shooted up through like a water spout back onto the top of the cliff, and when he did that, the murderous thief was like so surprised. None of his victims were able to do that. So when he did that, he kicked the thief over the edge, and the turtle ate him instead. Facing Medea. The third part of this journey was to outsmart the new wife of the king. So Theseus entered Athens to see his father and claim him as his son. When this happened, Medea has set some poisons in wine because she knows who Theseus is. Her plan was to kill him before the king found out. So when he was invited to dinner later that night, his father looked old, crumpled, but it was just Medea's mind tricking everybody. Medea is this witch from Colchis, if no one has ever known that. So when Theseus walked in the banquet hall, he saw his father, he saw Medea, and he saw their son. So Theseus walked to his side and stood there, which was a little ways from the king. The queen is always on the left-hand side. So he sat on the other side. But his father saw that sword and the sandals he found underneath the rock that was his sandals and sword. And then he realized the mistake. So he smacked the wine glass away from Theseus and then pretty much banished Medea. The king was so happy to see his actual son return. He proclaimed to his people that this was actually his son. This is the heir to my throne. But Theseus wanted to prove himself to be a hero even more. So he volunteered to be one of the 14 tributes to the Minotaur, 7 virgins females and 7 virgin males. So he went across the sea to Crete, where this Minotaur lived. And when he went across the sea, the sea was black. His father told him if he did manage to survive, to raise a white sail so his father would know that Theseus survived. Along this journey, Theseus went into the Minotaur's little hidey hole, slayed it, came out a victor, and next thing he knows, he has someone he's engaged to. They come across this island on the way home, and they stop there to resupply and take a break. So they got back on the boat, but Theseus left his betrothal on the island. And he forgot to raise the white sail. So when he returned, his father thought he died. Father threw himself over the cliff. Theseus became king. One thing you should learn, people, you don't have to be a demigod to be a hero. And hero is a relative term. What's a good example? Hercules. We view Hercules as a hero. And our parents could be heroes to us. Veterans are heroes. They saved our country. So what you should really understand is, be a hero to someone. It will make their life a whole lot better.